popular versus required. So again, the one question to you guys: what is the popular automation stack as of now today in market? And I know probably most of you might say, okay, it's probably Selenium plus Java, right? Now here is always it's a very tricky question, right? Popular versus required. Sometime it happens, right? You join in a place and they are using something very niche in nature, which is not Selenium and Java, but probably they are using something else. Probably they are using some very different language which is not so popular, and also the UI automation tool which is not you can say so much familiar to the community. Now it always boils down to typically what we should go for. Either we should go for a popular versus the required one, and that is where. So if I'm a quality engineer, or I'm a person who is actually doing automation as an individual contributor, sometimes people tend to have, or the influences whatever is the popular out there. uh, and that's because it's a fair, right? Because in the market also, if you see, then there is a lot of opportunities available on that particular tech stack. But if you are trying to make a decision for your automation tech stack, where you are actually wanted to finalize what is the best solution for you, then just going for the popular tool set might not be the right approach. But to consider the entire all the scenario, okay, what is your and that is something we're also going to touch upon. But what I'm just trying to say, we have to keep a very you can say deep understanding about what is a popular versus what is a required one for us. More often than not, people go for a popular options or something that is not required for them, and that also creates a challenge down the line. Lack of product roadmap visibility. uh, I'm not sure, but I have been in the scenarios, but also some of you can also share your own experiences, that if you do not have your product roadmap visibility, then it becomes a challenge. uh, Imagine a scenario, and again, it's all real time conditions, that you started working on some particular automation tool. You put your entire effort, got the foundation framework done, started automating scenarios, and down the line, say after 6 months or a year, you got to know, hey, what our entire UI technology is going to get changed. And then the tool and the framework what you have selected, it's not handy, it's not seamless to work with your new set of technical stack of your product. Then it becomes very challenging. Then you are talking about the entire new tool and framework to be relooked at, the entire migration efforts. If you wanted to go to, again, learning and development becomes a part of it. That is one of the very key aspect and element. Extensive training and development cost and efforts, that is something I touched upon, because with this, if people, we do not go give a lot of importance of this tool and framework selection process, and believe me, you would end up spending rounds and rounds of efforts, cost around the extensive training and development of each resources. Constant attrition, this also becomes a major challenge, and again, this would lead us to training and development. Now imagine you are actually zeroing it down on one particular tech stack, you are training and developing people. But if you are going to have higher set of attrition at your end, then you are not going to have a fruitful outcome, because then you will end up spending most of your time in training and developing this particular resource before you actually start expecting something out of the team. So this also becomes quite a dent in our automation efforts. Forced decision, I'm pretty much using this forced decision words, or something that you enter into a setup, and you basically work in a such kind of an environment where decisions has already been taken. So either those also can be a historical decisions in nature, and those might not be you can say best or correct set of decision. And that is where things can get dragged in having the overall impact onto the automation side. Decisions taken in silos. Why I am saying you this is that now, When we talk about quality engineering efforts, and we all value the collaborative effort, how we deal with, okay, we do deal with DevOps, we deal with engineering team, product team. But sometimes if the task comes to us, and since we are the expert of zeroing it down to the automation framework, and the tool that we're going to use, I think always I have also experienced this. The more collaboration or involvement you have from your other leaders, okay, involve people from product, involve people from engineering, from DevOps in your entire decision making process, because they are also your equal stakeholders, and you also have to work very collaboratively with this set of people around you. So if they are also able to bring some inputs to the table, I think this really adds the value in your entire decision making process, and really it makes you the failure proof in near future. Aiming for the glory shot. So this is something, being a cricket fan, this comes from that. Okay, so even though you can get or achieve your target pretty easily or step by step, you tend to go for a glory shot, and in that particular manner you might lose your wicket. So automation basically can also come as with a lot of excessive baggage of expectations to the individual, to the team, quality engineering team, and sometimes it has been also been looked upon as solution for all the problems. That is something we should refrain from. And whenever you're actually planning down the entire automation journey of your organization or of your product, set yourself a very small milestones, target, achievable things over the course of, have your entire short term vision and long term vision sorted out. I think that really helps instead of going, okay, sometimes it can start, hey, you know what, we just wanted to automate 100% or everything out there in the next quarter. That is something can also set up for failure, because then we are doing things hastily, which might not be good or right necessarily. Lack of best engineering practices. So even though we are basically doing these things from the testing point of view, but it's all about engineering. So I also consider this entire automation effort as a part of engineering. So that's where I emphasize on being a quality engineers. uh, so all the engineering practices, be it coding standard, being your linting, that is something like a code smell issues, keeping your repository optimized, minimizing your tech debt, all those practices has been championed onto the development side over the years. We can actually take the benefit of all those practices, and having all those state of art coding standard guidelines practices to be followed even onto the automation side, so that your code will be agile, nimble, it will be optimized, and it will be well maintained at the end of the day. But unfortunately, sometimes due to basically lack of visibility or not involving the engineering team, not taking the benefit of the framework in place, sometimes we end up in a situations that we end up creating a lot of duplicate code, lot of code which is not scalable in nature, and lot of technical debt even onto the automation side as well. And then your maintenance becomes a nightmare. So at one point of time you are dealing with your script failures, but also you are dealing with the maintenance of your automation repositories.